We usually think about the future in these huge, sweeping terms, right? Like decades or even centuries. But today, we're going to zoom way in and focus on just 1 year, 2025. It is seriously shaping up to be a year where all this long, hard research finally hits the real world, giving us solutions to some of our biggest, most fundamental problems.
So, that brings up a huge question. Can one single year of science really change the world? I mean, when you look at the challenges we're facing, things like the AI energy crisis or diseases we thought were impossible to manage, it can feel pretty overwhelming. But the breakthroughs coming in 2025, they suggest the answer might just be a big, loud yes. Let's dive in. All right, first up, we're heading into the world of computing. AI is absolutely everywhere, but it's got this massive hidden problem. It uses a shocking amount of energy, but that's about to change. And at the exact same time, we're on the brink of a totally new kind of computing.
And this slide really nails the difference. See, on one hand, you've got the AI of today. It all runs in the cloud, which really means these enormous, power-hungry data centers. But on the other hand, there's this new idea, neuromorphic AI. The genius here is that it's designed to work just like our brains. Instead of every part running full blast all the time, its neurons only fire when there's actually new information to process. It's just smarter.
And the result of that smart design? It's incredible. We are talking about needing 1,000 times less electricity to do the same AI tasks. That isn't just a small improvement, that's a complete revolution. It's the difference between needing a power plant for a city and just needing a small battery.
And the person spearheading this is researcher Julie Grolier. Her quote really says it all. They are literally looking at the physical wiring of the human brain to build a better, radically more efficient computer chip. It's this perfect blend of biology and high-tech engineering.
Okay, so making AI 1,000 times more efficient is a huge deal. But what about the problems that aren't just about speed or efficiency? I'm talking about the problems that are literally impossible for today's computers to solve. For those, you need something else entirely. You need a quantum leap. So for decades, the dream of a big, powerful quantum computer has been stuck on this one massive problem, quantum error correction. The building blocks of these computers, called qubits, are just incredibly fragile. The slightest vibration, the tiniest change in temperature, and poof, the information is gone. So the bottom line is, if you can't fix those errors as they happen, you can't build a useful machine, period.
Well, guess what? In 2025, that's changing. A team at Harvard, led by Mikhail Lukin, has finally cracked it. They've built a system that can spot and correct these errors on the fly. It's the first time anyone's made a truly fault-tolerant system. And as Lukin says, you can finally see that light at the end of the tunnel. Suddenly, scalable quantum computers don't feel like science fiction anymore. Okay, so from the digital world of ones and zeros, we're going to turn inward. We're going into the incredibly complex world of our own bodies and minds. Because in 2025, it's not just about rewiring computers. We're also finding amazing new ways to understand and even rewire our own health.
Let's just start with this number, because it is a tough one. For people who manage to recover from major depressive disorder, up to 85% can experience a relapse later on. That's one of the biggest challenges in mental health care. How do you make recovery stick?
What if the solution was something you could actually take home? Well, there's a new therapy that uses a simple headset. It delivers a really gentle electrical current. It's called TDCS. You just wear it at home, and that current helps stimulate your prefrontal cortex. It's almost like giving the brain's electrical pathways a little nudge, helping them get back into a healthier pattern and regulating the very activity that's linked to depression. And the results? A recent study showed it slashed the relapse rate from that scary 85% all the way down to just 8.5%. That's a game changer. All right, now for a question that kind of turns everything we think we know upside down. When we talk about health, we pretty much always think of aging as a bad thing, right? A risk factor. But what if that's not always true?
A wild new study from Stanford is challenging that exact idea. And I love this quote from the researchers. They said their discovery flies in the face of established dogma about how aging and cancer are connected. They're basically saying everything you thought you knew might be wrong.
And here's why. Just look at these results. When they induced lung tumors in mice, the younger mice actually developed 3 times as many tumors as the older mice, and they were bigger and way more aggressive. So something about the aging process itself was actually fighting the cancer. It's a discovery that could totally rewrite the book on how we think about and treat cancer.
So we've rewired our computers, we've started hacking our own biology. For this last part, we're going to look both outward and inward at how 2025 is pushing the very limits of human exploration, from the farthest reaches of space to the very meaning of art itself.
And 2025 is going to be a massive year for looking up at the stars. The Vera Rubin Observatory is kicking off this unbelievable 10-year project to map the entire visible sky. And at the same time, NASA's launching its SphereX mission to build a 3D map of the cosmos and hunt for the actual ingredients for life out there.
But, our search for knowledge isn't just pointed up at the sky. A totally new frontier of creativity is opening up right here on our own planet, and it's being powered by that same AI technology we were talking about earlier.
Get this. In 2025, an artist named Rafik Anadol is opening a place called Dataland in Los Angeles. It is going to be the world's first museum all about AI-generated art. But don't picture paintings on a wall. Think huge, immersive experiences that are built from massive sets of data. The main attraction is going to use an AI that was trained only on data from the natural world, creating art that might help us see our own planet in a whole new light.
So, when you put it all together, it's clear that 2025 isn't just another year on the calendar. It feels like this pivotal moment where our ability to solve really fundamental problems is just taking off, accelerating like never before.
I mean, think about the pattern here. We had a huge problem, AI's energy crisis. The solution? Chips inspired by the human brain. We had impossible problems. The solution? Quantum computers that can finally fix their own errors. We had the devastating cycle of depression relapse. The solution? An at-home therapy that rewires the brain. Even the old established dogma about aging and cancer is being flipped on its head. Every single one of these breakthroughs takes a problem we've been stuck on for years and turns impossible into in progress. And that leaves us with one final thought. Now that we have these incredible new tools, what impossible challenge should science go after next? Thanks for joining me.